In the rugged mountains of western North Carolina, there's a 26-mile mountain bike race with over 3,600 feet of climbing. The race begins in the town of Old Fort and features some Pisgah Gold such as Jerdon Mountain, Star Gap, Heartbreak Ridge, and Kitsuma, before ending back in Old Fort. This is the Jerdon Mountain Challenge. Jay and I wanted to see if we could complete the route in under 4 hours on fat bikes. Find out if we can next on Simply Mountain Biking. On the evening prior to the race, Jay and I met in Old Fort.
What up?
At Hillman Brewery, we picked up our race packets.
Nice. Barrier balm. Protects against chafing.
We then checked into our hotels where we tucked in our bikes for the night. Back in Old Fort the next morning, we prepped our bikes and did last-minute checks. Prepped and ready to go, we headed for the starting line. I don't know about Jay, but I had butterflies in my stomach.
We're off in 5, 4, 3.
I've never been in a mass start of 300 riders before. It was super cool being among so many others that liked mountain biking. But it was also strange being the only two on fat bikes. We headed out down Old Route 70. Being from the lower Piedmont, where July can be a punishing month, Jay and I enjoyed the cool mountain air and the roar of our fat bike tires on the pavement.
Listen to that TIE Fighter.
After about 1.5 miles of narrow country road, we headed into the Pisgah National Forest on an old Forest Service road called Jarrett Creek Road. The race course was clearly marked by white ribbons with the Blue Ridge Adventures logo.
You got a whole fat bike category for that?
I smell brakes. Someone's riding them.
Short-lived.
Yep.
Most downhill sections were short-lived. Jarrett Creek was a long 7-mile climb that brought us up to skirt the summit of Jerdon Mountain.
Oh, sorry, man.
Woo! After the long climb, we finally began the fast descent into Star Gap. The entrance to the climb up Heartbreak Ridge was a technical hike-a-bike. In fact, I walked most of the climb. It just wasn't worth getting on the bike to be able to ride only about 50 yards before getting back off again. Descending on Star Gap Trail was fun. Chunky, narrow, and more than a dozen switchbacks.
Yeah, fat tires. Woo!
This is where the fat bike's really shone. Lots of grip and cushion for the chunk.
Woo! Yeah! Chunky, chunky!
Haha, a couple people went down there. We descended Star Gap Trail with full knowledge of what was waiting for us at the bottom. The Rock of Death.
How far it is?
Past me. Yeah. Jay and I had scouted the Rock of Death on the day prior. The Rock of Death is a slippery, steep drop over rocks and roots near the bottom of the trail. Every year, hecklers set up at the bottom of the rock and attempt to goad riders into attempting the drop, hoping to get a crash from those that try and heckling those that don't. After we took a look at the possible lines, Jay felt confident in riding it. I did not.
You can take this line, or you're just going to walk it?
I'm going to come right to here, and I'm just going to be like this. Right down like this. You know? Knowing full well I was going to walk it and take my heckles, my hope was that I would get something I hadn't seen yet, a rider's viewpoint of some funny heckles.
Good job.
You got your whole GoPro just walking.
You got your whole life left.
Ah.
Hey!
My side left, my side right.
13 miles in, we turned back onto pavement at Graphite Road, where spectators cheered us along. We rolled past the rest stop and turned onto Mill Creek Road and began a long road climb to the base of Kitsuma.
Hey there!
Killers, man. You guys are killers, man.
Having ridden 15 miles and climbed over 2,000 feet of elevation, I was wore out at this point. I wasn't feeling myself this day, and Jay recognized it too. I made the decision the race was over for me. Jay would continue up Mill Creek, and I would descend it back to Old Fort. Jay climbed another 500 feet over 3 miles on Mill Creek Road to arrive at the base of Kitsuma Peak. After about a dozen switchbacks and 300 feet of climbing, Jay would make Kitsuma Peak.
Brakes are fading, so I'm just gonna let it roll.
And let it roll he did for 3 miles and 1,500 feet all the way back down to Mill Creek.
Oh, rest the legs, rest the legs. Come on. Woo. Wow. It's rough. Right. Woo. Oh, here we go.
At the south end of Kitsuma Trail, Jay rolled back out onto Mill Creek Road. Moving fast on pavement, Jay would reach the outskirts of Old Fort and begin the final run to the finish line. Jay Jay's time was 3:36:15, but he'd likely be faster if he didn't ride most of it with me.
Okay.
Katsuma would have killed you.
I love Jay's comment. Katsuma probably would have killed me. I was very tired, and from what I could tell on the video, it looked to be a fairly technical descent. I was disappointed I wasn't able to finish the whole route this year, so I've already went online, I've registered for next year's event, plus a couple of others, and so I'm gonna go out and try to do it on a fat bike again, and who knows, maybe I'll see you out there. Later.